Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed building video, or welcome to the channel if you are new here. So I did just want to start today's video off slightly differently and speak about something that's actually happened in the past week. So on Saturday, which was the day after my last upload, the channel hit 1,000 subscribers, which I just wanted to start this video off just by saying thank you guys so much. Like, that is an unbelievable milestone, and I genuinely can't imagine 1,000 people standing in a room, let alone 1,000 people actually watching my YouTube channel and actually liking it and deciding to subscribe. So I just quickly wanted to start this video off just by saying thank you, because honestly it means the absolute world to me. And yeah, I appreciate it all so much. I honestly, everything that you guys do, I just appreciate all of the comments that I get and the shares in the video, and people even mentioning me on Twitter. It warms my heart so much. It sounds really soppy, and I know I don't normally sound this soppy, but it really does. And I just wanted to start this video off just by saying thank you guys so much. It honestly does mean the absolute world to me, and I literally and genuinely couldn't have got 1,000 subscribers without you, because I can't subscribe to myself, and so it was all your doing. And so yeah, I just quickly wanted to start this video off just by thanking everyone who has subscribed to the channel. And yeah, anyway, moving on and actually speaking about the build. So as you can see, today I'm actually going to build in Oasis Springs. Now I know maybe a few weeks ago, I did actually release a speed build in Oasis Springs, but it's actually a different section of Oasis Springs. So you kind of got the kind of mid-century area where the Roomies household live, and then you've got the Mediterranean, more Spanish kind of looking homes, which is actually where the Caliente family live. Now I actually recently released a video in the mid-century area, but I feel like I haven't done one of these Mediterranean kind of Spanish looking homes in a really long time, and I really wanted to build one, and so I decided to build one for my save file. So the household that I've actually designed this house to live in for my save file is actually the Caliente family. Now if you're not familiar with the Caliente family, they are basically a family that have been in multiple generations of the game. They were in The Sims 2, The Sims 3 and also in The Sims 4, although in The Sims 4 they were done quite dirty, but we'll speak about that a little bit later on. But basically I wanted to build them a new house in the game. Now previously they actually lived on a different sized lot, which was a 30 by 20, which I've actually already got a house built on for my save. This was actually their last house in this kind of little quarter of lots, because there's 4 lots in this kind of little area. You can kind of see in the background at some points that I have actually already got the other 3 lots already done and furnished. The only one that I had left to do was this one, which I decided to make for the Caliente family. Now if you would have watched my modern bachelor pad, which I actually released a few weeks ago, which was the mid-century house, then you will know that for my save file, 1, Katrina, the mother, she's in the bin, she's not going to be in my save file, and I'll speak about that a little bit later on. And 2, Don Lothario is also not going to be living with Dina and Nina Caliente. Now I just felt like it wasn't right, and I really wanted to make a bachelor pad designed completely for Don Lothario, and so that's what I did. And if you haven't actually seen that video, I'll put a card on the screen now so you can go and check it out. So with me having a completely separate household for Don Lothario and also just putting Katrina in the bin, that's the only way I can really say it, because I have deleted her out of my save file. But again, I will speak about this in a second. But because I deleted 2 out of the 4 Sims in this household, this house, even though it is such a big house, only actually ends up being a 3-bedroom house. Now there is a bedroom for Nina and a bedroom for Dina, and then there is also a butler's room as well. I imagine that they actually have a butler that lives with them all the time, and they've kind of got their own little room in the house. And then there is actually also like a little study kind of office area, which I've actually made into kind of like a content creation room. So in there is I don't know what it's called, but in Get Famous we kind of got this more views kind of station where your Sims can basically become a YouTuber. I put that in that kind of like office room, as well as like a little desk area as well. So if you wanted to, that could definitely be another bedroom. By all means, if you want to download this house and you want a completely different family to live in it, you can definitely do that. It was just kind of like the requirements that I needed for this house was only 2 bedrooms, and so I decided to make the other bedroom into a butler's room and then the other one into an office. But by all means, you can make them into extra bedrooms if you want, and you can probably actually squeeze some more bedrooms out of the floor plan. But because I only needed 2 bedrooms, I actually made the bedrooms so they were quite big anyway. Now speaking about the Caliente family and why I actually made the decision to actually cut Katrina out of my save file. Now I don't have anything against Katrina, I don't like have something against her that made me want to delete creator. It was just for the fact of I want my family trees in my save file to kind of correspond with the previous generations of The Sims. So in The Sims 3 and in The Sims 2. Now, Katrina actually popped out of nowhere in The Sims 4. Their original mother was actually Naya Caliente, and I don't know where Katrina came from. She just kind of popped out and somehow is now their actual mother, and I don't like the idea. I just personally, for my save file, want to stick to their actual original family tree. And so already I've actually created the whole family tree. So I'm talking about their father, their uncle and their grandparents. They've already been created and they're kind of, I was about to say ready to go and ready to pop into the world, but if I'm being realistic, I'm actually going to have them so they're all dead apart from Nina and Dina, which sounds so morbid, but in my save file it's not going to make sense if their mum and dad are actually alive, and so they are going to be dead. But I've only created them just so you could actually go through the family tree and experience it. I've mentioned this before in previous videos, but the whole reason why I actually wanted to start a save file was mainly for the fact of, in previous Sims games, one of my favourite things to do was literally go onto a family and just have a little browse through their family tree, like whose cousin is who and who's married to who and who's, do you know what I mean? Like, that was my favourite thing to do in previous Sims games, and that's what I really want my save file to be about. A lot of generations and so many family trees, and so I have actually already created the whole Caliente family tree. And once again, as it should have been from the get-go, the Caliente sisters do actually stem from aliens. Now, if you didn't play previous generations, you might be a bit confused, but I'm gonna quickly run over that. Basically, their grandfather's an alien. One of their grandfathers got abducted by an alien who then had their father Flamenco, who then married their mother Naya, who then Nina and Dina were born. Hopefully that is easy to understand, but long story short, their granddad's an alien, and so they do actually technically descend from aliens. And so I have already created the alien, and I've already given them a makeover as well in The Sims, because if we're being realistic, if you look at Sims 2 Nina and Dina and you look at Sims 4 Nina and Dina, you realise how dirty the Sims team did them, because I don't know what went wrong with their faces, because they don't even have the similar features to what they did in previous Sims games. Talking about like Nina, if you look at Nina from like The Sims 3 and look at her in The Sims 4, different person, a completely different person. And I also feel like kind of different personality, because I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure she's got like the lazy trait and she's got commitment issues and she's got quite negative traits. And I think I have actually changed her traits in my save file. I can't completely remember, but I basically want them to be young girls that have just got a load of money from their mum and dad passing, and they're just having the time of their life. They've got this really big grand house. They throw parties all the time. I think I might make one of them be a YouTuber or a streamer. I'm not quite sure, but I have already added that get famous station into the office, and maybe the other one is unemployed, or maybe they're both employed. Honestly, I don't really know how it's going to go, but I'm just going to see how it plays out once I've actually gone in and added their skills, because although I've actually done their family and I've already given them a makeover, I haven't actually refined their skills and all of the different skills that they're going to have, hobbies that they're going to have, and so that is something that I do actually still need to do. But anyway, enough of me rambling. As you can see, I've already started actually furnishing the back garden. Now currently you can kind of see that this little building around the back, as you can kind of see it now as I've kind of turned the camera. Heads up, that gets deleted. Basically, long story short, I originally wanted to have a pool house because it is quite a grand house, and I thought a pool house would fit in quite perfectly. But realistically, everything that I wanted to have in a pool house, I already had out in the garden, and I really wanted to include a hot tub, and the hot tub just wouldn't fit inside of that little pool house. And so what you can see me do is actually completely delete that, and as you can see me doing now, I do actually create a platform, and I eventually end up putting the hot tub on top of it. I do also use this kind of cover object that we actually got from Island Living. Now I'm saying cover because I imagine it in real life, if you was actually sit under that, you would get less sunburnt than if you was not to sit under that, if that makes any sense. I don't feel like that would really protect you from rain or thunderstorms, but it kind of gives you a bit of shade so you don't get a sunburn. I don't think it's actually how it works in the game, but I like to think like that because I like a little bit of realism. Plus it hardly ever rains in Oasis Springs in my game anyway, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't snow unless you've got a mod, so it's definitely a very hot world, so you need something so your Sims don't get sunburnt. Also, I just really like the look of it, so that's why I decided to add it. But anyway, as you can see, I'm just going around the exterior of the build now, and I'm adding up some lighting. It's not until you actually go into nighttime mode that you actually see how dark a building can get and how important lighting is. So as you can see, we go out like around the whole entire build and add some hanging wall lights and also some floor lights, and just try and brighten it up because it was so extremely dark, especially with my reshade on as well. Which, by the way, I've actually been getting quite a lot of questions about my reshade recently. So the reshade that I actually use is by Fantasia, and I feel like it's quite an old one. I've had it in my game for quite a while now, but I'll try and find a link to it and put it in the description box down below if you do want to download it. But basically it's this reshade which I downloaded, and then one day I actually came in. If you actually go back in my videos, you can kind of see the difference. I think the first time that I actually played around with the settings and I released a video is when I actually built a university house. That makes complete sense. When I built a sorority house for university in The Sims 4. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a card on the screen now and you can go and watch it. But that was the first time that I actually used the reshade in my videos, and previously I actually had the same reshade on in my videos previous to that one. But what I actually did is I actually came in and I actually played around with the settings. Now I couldn't tell you unfortunately what settings I played around with, but basically I spent hours just kind of experimenting with the reshade and adding more depth and adding more shadows, and it kind of gives more just shadows and depth basically to all of my builds, all of the furniture that I place in, all the walls, and that's why it might seem like a little bit more refined. It's literally just a reshade. Like I said, I'll actually put a link to, or try and find a link to the one that I've actually used in the description box down below, but just be mindful that I have played around with the settings, and so you're not going to get exactly the same reshade that I've actually got, as I did have a little play around with the settings, but I'm sure if you actually went in and you just played around with it like I did, you'll be able to find it. But anyway, rambling over, as you can see, I've already moved on to the inside of this house and I've already started furnishing. I've already done the kitchen and the dining room, and now I'm just focusing on this little utility room / bathroom. So in the kitchen, I went for all base game counters and base game fridge, and then the Snowy Escapes oven. And then in the dining room, pretty simple, I just had this massive dining table, some bookcases, and then a fireplace. By the way, there is so many bookcases in this house, as I was realising when I was actually placing them down when I was building it. It's just because it's such a big house and I didn't really know what to fit it with, as there was only 2 Sims living in this house. But also I do have a little utility room and a bathroom downstairs. Now there is actually 3 bathrooms in total in this house, 2 upstairs for each of the sisters, and then there's 1 downstairs which actually doubles up as a utility room or a laundry room, whatever you want to call it. I call it a utility room in the UK, but I know people call it a laundry room. But as you would walk into the laundry room, there's a door on the left hand side and it basically goes into a separate bathroom. I was thinking that maybe if one of the sisters is in the toilet and then the butler comes in to do the washing, you don't really want that to happen, so I made it so the bathroom was separate. I know it's not very realistic, but I just thought I'd do it anyway, as there was space for a separate bathroom and utility room. But anyway though, as you can see, I've now moved on and I've started doing the lounge room. This lounge is so big. I don't know if you can actually grasp how big it is on the footage, but it was huge, and so I needed to figure out a way to actually make it less big because there was so much space. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, add bookcases, add a piano, add a bar. I have that in the next room, and so I couldn't have like 2 pianos in 2 rooms next to each other and 2 bookcases. And so basically what I decided to do to kind of minimize the space was actually create this kind of platform thing. So it's kind of like a sunken in lounge, which I actually really like, and I feel like you might find in Mediterranean and Spanish looking houses anyway, or the ones that I've seen like pictures of on Pinterest. And so I just created these platform steps which kind of go down into kind of like the main seating area. In the main seating area, I actually use the sofas which we got from Eco Lifestyle. They are in the debug menu though, so you won't be able to get them in the normal build and buy menu. You actually do have to go onto the debug cheat. I have mentioned this before, but I do actually have a mod installed which basically allows me to access the live edit menu and also the debug menu just in my regular build and buy. But I'm not going to talk about it too much because if you've been watching my channel for a while, I have mentioned it in quite a few videos, and to be honest, I just don't want to bore you, and so I have a link to it in my description box down below so you can go and download it, and there'll be information on the page as well about the mod. But anyway, moving on, as you can see, I've now moved on to kind of like the entertainment room. So it's kind of little room out the back and I didn't really know what to do with it, and so I decided to make it into an entertainment room. So in here we have a massive bar. They probably have mixologists here all the time because there's multiple bars in this house. There's also a little piano, and there is also a little seating area, so maybe if it happens to be a rainy day in Oasis Springs, which I don't think is going to happen, but if it did ever happen, there is an indoor kind of party area as well as an outdoor party area. But now, as you can see, I have actually moved on to the upstairs of this house, and I've started by furnishing one of the bathrooms. Now normally I actually only show the furnishing of one bathroom in a house just because bathrooms are so boring to watch. I mean, let's be honest, it's the same thing. It's a sink, it's a toilet, maybe a bathtub or maybe a shower, and so normally I only show the furnishing of one, but the downstairs one was kind of like a utility room at the same time, and so that's why I actually decided to keep that footage in. But I do actually only show the bathrooms of one of the sisters' bathrooms, and then the other one I decided to cut out. It's literally the exact same bath, same shower, etc, etc. But now, as you can see, I've now actually moved on and I've actually started doing the bedrooms. I absolutely love these bedrooms because I actually did this kind of like walk-in wardrobe effect. Now originally I did actually forget to mention it, but when I was actually going in and originally doing the floor plan, one of the bedrooms, or I say one of the bedrooms, the butler's bedroom and like the office slash study kind of room, originally were actually going to be two different walk-in wardrobes, one walk-in wardrobe for each sister. But I was thinking about it, and realistically a sim only actually needs a mirror to change their whole appearance. You can literally change a sim's complete look just from the use of a mirror, and so I'd rather give you more gameplay activities to do with like the desk area, the butler's kind of quarter, than actually have one massive walk-in wardrobe or two massive walk-in wardrobes. And so with that I actually decided to make them into the different rooms, but then actually move the walk-in wardrobe into kind of like the bedroom. So you can kind of see I've actually sectioned them off with a wall, and I've actually used the Get Famous, there's like shoes, there's like a shoe wardrobe and then like the actual clothes wardrobe, and trying to make it look like it's an actual walk-in wardrobe. I absolutely love these bedrooms. I was actually really happy with both how they both actually turned out. I did actually make the one which I'm actually now going to move on to a little bit more feminine. I'm not sure whose bedroom is what. Maybe I'll actually decide that when we actually get in and actually start playing around with the family, but currently I just kind of decided to make one a little bit more feminine than the other. I still wanted the same layout, I still wanted basically the same items, but kind of a slightly bit different, and so the only way that I kind of knew how to do that was kind of give a pink fluffy rug and some makeup on the little chest of drawers and stuff. I don't know, maybe you want to change it around and maybe you have different ideas for their personalities, but I just kind of wanted to make one feminine bedroom out of the two. As you can see though, I am just going in and clutching up this little chest of drawers. Realistically, your Sims don't need a chest of drawers and 3 wardrobes in their bedroom, but I just kind of liked the look of it, and I feel like Nina and Dina would probably have loads of clothes, loads of shoes, loads of handbags and everything, and so I really wanted to kind of mimic that in the game and give them a lot of different wardrobe space. As you can see though, I am just finishing up this room now, adding a little rug and then also adding them little, I don't know what they're actually called, but it's kind of like a seating area at the end of the bed. Whenever you go into like really posh fancy hotels, they always seem to have them at the end of the bed, and normally whenever I do slightly more expensive houses, typically you're gonna find them at the end of my Sims beds. But anyway, as you can see, I've now moved on and I've started doing kind of like the home office slash content creation room slash kind of YouTube room slash activity room. So in here, as you can see, I have got that little more views video station, so your Sims can actually sit down, or I say sit down, they actually do stand up, but your Sims can stay there and actually just make YouTube videos and then post them. There is also a normal computer area as well, because I did actually realise that I hadn't actually put a desk area anywhere else in the build, and I wanted to make sure there was at least one computer in the build for your Sims to actually use, because computers do actually offer quite a lot of gameplay in the game. Now, as you can see though, I have actually moved on and I've started doing the butler's bedroom. So this is quite a simple and plain room. I didn't want to have any real personality in this room. It's just kind of like blank furniture ready for you to have a butler to move in to actually move their stuff in. So I kind of just did like a nice empty desk. It's got some tissues on it and it's got a lamp, but that's basically it. And just kind of so your Sims butlers can actually move in and actually just clutter it up all themselves. I am just going to go around the room and just finish it up with some bookcases. Then I am actually going to be shortly moving on to the hallways and just cluttering up the hallway area. There was some weird roof trim coming through into the walls, and so I did actually decide to cover them up with some counters from Jungle Adventure, and then also add some flowers on top of them as well. But anyway guys, I have actually reached the end of this voiceover, so as always you can download this build via the gallery. My origin ID is JessicapieYT, or you could just search for the hashtag JessicapieYT or just the hashtag Jessicapie. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, if you do like my content then please do subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in my next Sims 4 speed building video. Bye guys.